uh, that somebody might not exactly know what time we have in on the other area in the world. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So now we're 5 hours difference instead of six. So at least on the
Here we
time
are.
here, Europe and the United States are closer right now for the moment.
Hmm. So how late is it now?
It is 3 minutes until 11 o'clock here
Morning.
in the morning. Yes.
Okay, yeah, that's great. I mean, I always remember when I did my visits to New Orleans, that I had to reschedule the meetings then. But it was always comfortable because I could always do it in the morning, and in Europe it was then afternoon. Yeah, so yeah,
Yeah.
but we are really close now. Yeah.
5 hours. So um, I'm expecting some more people to come. There were at least a couple more that were interested. So earlier on, we'll see. Sometimes they come in the very last minute.
Yeah, I mean, we record, we do a recording as I
Yeah.
guess, no? Yeah,
Yeah, we're recording and we'll make that available after the session as well.
yeah. So I think also that is a big advantage.
Yeah, that will help. That will help. So, I'm not sure who is going first from your group.
Alexander?
I, I'm starting and I'm ending.
Okay, so I'll introduce you, Alexander. You can introduce your team, and
Hmm.
we get started here.
Hmm.
And we could, if it's a small group, then we can just have people who are here in the audience maybe introduce themselves as well. I may do that if that's
Yeah, let's maybe do this when we start the discussion, no?
yeah, that'd be fine.
Yeah.
I think I'll give it like another minute or so just to let people come in that might want to. They're just a minute behind. And then we'll start. And
Great.
so do you still have snow on the mountains?
A little bit, not so much. It was a few days ago. It was very warm. So then it was very cold and it snowed again. And so there's still a bit, but not so much for really good skiing. So it's more. So all of us are now changing from winter sports to summer sport, and you see a lot of people biking. And I also took the bike today, and so it's the changing time. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. There we got someone else coming in. Maybe some other people coming in as we get started here, and I'll just admit them when they come. So I think we should go ahead and get started.
Mhm.
So let me first welcome everyone that is here to this session. This is the Global Agritourism Network Research Committee's webinar series. This is the second um, in our series so far. And we have with us today Alexander Plechner and his colleagues from Innsbruck, Austria. I had the good fortune to visit them I guess it was the fall of 2023 now, when I was on sabbatical, and to learn about some of the work that they're doing. Um, and there were some things going on with respect to smart data management that was also, some of this was presented at the conference in Bolzano last year, I believe. So this is kind of an extension of that and an update, and hopefully we'll be reaching some new audiences with this important information based upon the research that they're doing there. So I'm going to actually turn it over to Alexander for him to introduce himself further, introduce his team, and to proceed with the presentation. We will have time after the presentation for some dialogue with those of you who are here today. And if you have a question that absolutely needs to be answered during the course of the presentation, go ahead and put it in the chat, and I'll make sure that we address it before we proceed. If you want to put other questions in the chat, just for us to begin to be thinking about what questions you have later on in the session, that would be fine as well. So looking forward to Alexander and his team's presentation. Alexander,
Thank you very much. Yes, thank you very much. It's a pleasure for us to present today at the Global Network of Agritourism. Our topic today is smart data management, creating a sustainable digital collaboration between agriculture and tourism. Myself, Barbara Weiskopf, and Katharina Weiskopf are PhDs. Which are focusing either on sustainability in tourism or inclusive tourism. Therefore, we have a bit of a background on these studies, and we are looking forward for for a later discussion then on some question you might have had. So let's go to the next slide, please. So as announced, we will have a look today on a big global trend, which is the neo-ecology, which gives us so much interest in agritourism and all the ecotourism world. And therefore, it's also a question from us how we can integrate these two sectors, agriculture and tourism, and combine them. And we saw a good opportunity with the digitalization as an opportunity. And I would like to say at the beginning, one of the most important things for us was that we didn't want to develop something new. We just combined what was there, and this was quite interesting. And I will show you also on the example what amazing possibilities we have now when we implemented this opportunity. We also will talk then on inclusive offers, because I think this is very, very important for the again two sectors, tourism and agritourism, because we have to consider that we have a growing number of people getting older, and this is compared to the decrease in younger population. We have an increase in this older population, and therefore it's quite important that we make our offers inclusive, and this gives us a lot of opportunities. And we also will lead you at the end of this presentation and give you some insights in some very interesting next project we applied in a big in a big proposal we have done with the European Union, and we are looking forward to also share this with you. Also, the circular economy is also a very important example of how to implement SDGs. Everybody says we are doing implementation in SDGs and we working with SDGs, and everything is sustainable. And at the end, with the tourists and the customers sometimes ask, so where is the sustainability? And circular economy is a very good example as agritourism itself. It's what I would say nearly a benchmark of sustainability in tourism development, and therefore also we could also place this with the collaboration. And this is all about for us. What is for us important is sustainable and responsibility. And this is the whole research. We have a common ground. Next slide, please. So our first study we want to present you is diversification through digital marketing of agri-tourism offers. Next slide, please. The background here was a collaboration between tourism and agriculture. That was interesting at the beginning with our project a few years ago. I remember me too a lot. We did a lot of focus group, and at the beginning it was always they blamed each other for doing something not with them, or hindering or blockading or whatever. So there was a lot of mistrust between these two areas. And it was good that we did a lot of focus groups, because the best thing for us at the end of each focus group, both members of both sectors always went for a coffee or for a drink to do some collaboration and to discuss some collaboration. So this was already a win-win situation we had. Also, digital marketing is a great opportunity for agriculture. And here we had a absolutely advantage here in Austria, because our local agri-tourism organization, Holiday on Farm, just implemented an app, and I will also show some examples later on. But so we had the opportunity to have already an app, an existing app. Farmers had some experience with that. And on the sector of tourism, we choose as an area, we focused our research to one of the leading areas in digitalization in tourism, the Zillertal, which is a valley with an enormous potential of tourism, but also an enormous integration of digitalization there. And therefore, we had already a good, let me say, a good start for our project. Digital technology as important drivers for sustainable development. This was something everybody says, yes, digital is sustainable, but if you consider ChatGPT cost more energy than to heat our villages and our cities. So this is something sometimes you have to critical look after. And also this was something in the project quite important, that we didn't want to develop a lot new. We just did some interface management, and therefore it was quite sustainable also, because we used what is there. And also this is something we have to consider, because most of the times we have already there some digitalization, but in the most times, especially in the sector tourism and agriculture, agri-tourism, there might be some not really interconnected areas. We show you then also some examples. Next slide, please. Digital sales channels. Here we have an enormous diversification potential. Just think about what you could offer on a farm, what you sometimes take as normal, yeah. Pony riding, tasting, farm products, walking with a farmer, on the ground, doing some bread baking in the farmhouse. These are things normally when you do agritourism, this is normal. But have you ever considered this to promote this external? And just if I just give you some ideas, if we now promote it external and we say $20 or 25 bucks, so of tourists could book this because next week we have a rainy day and we could offer 2 or 3 things externally. The farmer just could put this in a special interface, and 10 minutes later it's sold. Yeah, and you have a diversification, and it's not so difficult, and it's not so much extra work. It's just how to promote it via digital channel. This will definitely increase revenue and definitely also the level of awareness, because let me use the example of walking with a farmer on his ground. Yeah, is in our area something very, very sustainable, because people from the cities coming to the countryside sometimes don't know where the milk is coming from. And therefore, this experience with the farmer is a very important circular economy, and also a very important sustainable development goal. I think it's 8 or 12. Then faster response on different customer requirements. This is also something we have to consider nowadays. If you book a room or a holiday on the farm, customers expect immediately answers. And in the past, how it worked, the farmers got the booking in the evening, then somebody switched on a computer and said then, okay, I will answer this customer. Just imagine nowadays a customer's waiting 8 hours will not wait. Yeah, so they will, most of them they are gone. So the app opportunity to accept bookings on the farm ground, wherever you are doing your work, with what you will then see with marketing tools and with a promotion and then an extra diversification offer. This is a very important thing to make life for farmers more easier. Limitation of physical sales. This is also something. Just think about the products you have on the farm. How you could sell them and how you could use this again as an attraction for the farm itself. This is also something we show you. We really, I would say, we even benchmarking something which is enormous, and also give a great opportunity also for new service channels. So next slide, please. Also, background of the study was the digital sales channels by itself. So the access of information and easier product and price comparison is nowadays a very important thing. Bringing products, no matter on time and place, to the customers. The potential of higher sales volume and the challenges also we have was part of the study and the developments. Next slide, please. The objective, therefore, was to improve the quality of cooperation between tourism and agriculture, to identify the potential of digital platforms, to promote digital marketing and bookings of agricultural offers through smart data management. Next slide, please. The research question, just shortly, because this is also always important for an academic. How can innovation in digital interfaces and platform facilitate the booking of agricultural events? For example, integrated email templates in the booking process, and how can time-consuming tasks on the farm, for example, breakfast service or catering, be outsourced through a digital supported services and delivery offer? And you will see we have an answer on this. Next slide, please. It was really a broad study. So 55 semi-structured qualitative interviews, 5 focus group with 41 participants. This is really a reliable data set. We did it, and this is the limit we have also to say. We did it here in Austria, in the Western world, and also a part of Italy, in the north of Italy, because this is the region, the Alpine region, which is in focus for us. And also we used here digital devices to support this data analysis. Next slide. So here are some slides. Here are some results, and yeah, this is the result of an academic world, and how we then also communicate this in a paper. But we will also show you then some examples. But this is quite interesting because this was the results of the interviews, and we just choose here one coding tree to explain you how we did this. So we did interviews and then coded it. And the interesting thing here in the digital marketing, it builds a picture how you can implement the things. So very important are these digital interfaces. Very important also the digital collaboration. We also could include digital farm shop. We will show you here then concrete examples. And also, of course, this was the starting point because the app was already there, but the connection between app and how to use it, and also the fear of something, a new gadget like an app, and do I lose my bookings? And people, if they can call me, that might not work. There was a lot of fear, so we started also with that. So let's also show you 2 quotes, which are essentially, there are some more, but 2 of them just as an example. The biggest advantage is that you can order when you have time. That means you don't have to call a supplier in rush and place your order over the phone, but you can do it at 8 in the evening, preferred the computer at 10, or then just set it off. Or a digital solution is also work. It also has have to wait and stay up to date. So you see, also we had supporters and we had concerns, and this was quite interesting. And on this space, we also placed the development. Next slide, please. So the result to show you in order was then we focused on digital interfaces and digital collaboration. On digital interfaces, here was important supporting companies regarding positioning, addressing the target group, and saving resources, closing information gaps, and promoting events. Simple, clever, efficient, and supportive design of digital interfaces, high cost maintenance and data management effort. Here, I would like to give you an example. This is something you have to consider when you do digitalization. For example, if you introduce an app, or our basic idea at the beginning was also to make it possible that within the app, we have then a second slide where you just go on the 3rd level, and then you have a list of offers, events you can offer, and you just choose and put one, and then it goes automatically to the DMO, and they promote it for you, and 20 seconds later the offer is already sold. That was the plan. I have to say, this so far didn't work out because, of course, it was a research project, and we found out, yes, of course, if we do this kind of full integration, we might have cost after the research project where there is no funding anymore. So there was an insecurity from side of the partners who would then pay for this further services and maintenance. We needed to do it to do a quick and dirty solution, which was also for me a good thing because it shows that there are possibilities, but also you can do digitalization without huge costs. Yeah, there is a full version always possible, and you have experts on this. Agencies are happy to do this, but this is investment. But on the short term, we also found solution. So is useful, but you don't need to have an app. But of course, if you have an app, it's a very good start. Yeah? Digital collaboration. Here, the result was about digitalization beneficial for collaboration. This was very, very important. And this is what we saw and see now after nearly a year after the project was done and the development was done. There is still a higher collaboration than it was earlier because it works very well. Everybody is happy. You have really only win-win situations between the two sectors. And so also it shows proof also in practical implementation. Supporting function for marketing of regional products. Here we will also show you then the example how to do is now possible. And so circular economy is flourished, and we stimulate this by this digital collaboration. And it was mainly done by common interfaces to improve this cooperation. So again, we are talking about the digitalization between tourism and agriculture and inclusive agritourism is working well because we just did interfaces between what was existing for the agritourism organization and also the DMO. And to combine it is a wonderful thing. Next slide. The digital farming shop. That was something we were not sure if we could implement this, and we were lucky because it was a part development at that time we could use because digital farming shop is something very cost intensively and very critical. Just think about how you can calculate the price, yeah, on something which is not fully packed, yeah, or something which is sometimes heavier, sometimes not so heavy, and also how do you cool things, yeah, how you transport things. A lot of things we were quietly concerned, but I show you we had the opportunity to use then a development of a startup which was done also in this area, and we fully implemented, and I will show you it's fantastic what is going on here. So it's a great potential for us in B2B and also P2C and also B2B area. This was something also for us quite unsure. B2C, it was clear. Our plan was, for example, just think about this valley, people going home after the holiday, what they take, what they use as a takeaway. Some cheap plastic things from China, yeah, showing some touristic things, yeah, or a basket of fruits and products from the farm, because this is now possible. Sufficient experiences for implementation. This is something we have to say. Digital farm shop needs experience. Here, you have to work with professionals. I would not do a quick and dirty thing because it would take time and effort, but it is something very, very to be done by professional. But if you have professional support and maybe a company or a startup which is and there is interest, yeah, then you can do here enormous developments. Sale data management and maintenance as a challenge. This is what I say to you. You have to be clear from the beginning on who is the owner of the digitalization tool, the platform, whatever you use, and who pays for it because it takes maintenance cost, and we have to consider on this. Price depends on products and sales volume. This is a challenging thing, but we will also show you we found a wonderful example by an invoice or a monthly invoice or a weekly invoice or a daily invoice, where you also can then save or or have a solution on sales volume. Personal communication with partners and customers as an essential component, and this is why we need also the channels, the digital channels to market this. We will show you on this. Booking and communication of events, expansion of offers through corporations. This was also not so easy because this was also a challenge, because we asked the Chamber of Commerce, please give us 10 events a farm could do. And they say, we can't do this because this farm has this business background, this farm has this this company status, and they have the right to do that, they have the right to do that. So we saw immediately this will be a problematical thing. Just have an app, have 10 possibilities, you just choose easily. This is not the way we can do. Yeah, maybe in future this is something also which goes back to the politicals. Authenticity is important, and this is of course something when you say you want to take something sustainable with you. What is more sustainable as to take a basket from a farmer you pre-booked on the night before to take with you at home. Yeah, but this is also important that they go then to the farm, see this. Maybe if they didn't do an agritourism, and if they do an agritourism, maybe also the cooperation from other farms enrich their own digital farmer store. Data exchanges is important for offering optimal services. And also I left the marketing, online media apps and offline. I will show you examples then later on. So this was just quite important. Also, what we do with the events, because for the events, the most important thing when you are a farmer, you do daily things. Tourism really are demanding nowadays because of the neo-ecology. But they just don't know that you maybe have it on this farm. Yeah, even citizen and the local population is quite interesting also to do a farm event. But the information is key. We will show you how we did. Next slide. So this is now an example, and you see we are now in the interface of Holiday on Farm. This is more or less what the farmer has on the screen, on the mobile phone, and also on the computer. So both is possible. Yeah, it's really possible that you stay outside and do your marketing and things and accept the bookings just on your mobile phone. Yeah, so the interface here allows. And this was one of the integration. This is the outcome of smart data management and interface management. We decided then to do a pre-stay mail and a post-stay mail, and by this giving some information what is there, and also what could be think on diversification, what could be booked during your stay. Yeah, and also we have the connection now, not only here, the interface is now what the farmer putting in here in this mobile phone template, automatically also goes to the DMO. So the tourism office also has this information, and also it could also exchange offers and could offer this to the farm. So the farmer could also offer something from another farm or from the DMO or whatever, what event is there. So there is a fantastic possibility to integrate this. And this is just in a pre-stay, very easy to integrate in the booking, and therefore also have the possibility to diverse the offer we have, and also integrate then the offer to the DMO. Next slide. And this is also what we said here is the other side. This was before now the interface we had for the farmer, and now we have the interface also from the DMO side. It's Experience on Farm. It's a selection of Holiday on Farm for partners. And this is the My Zillertal app. So we have a destination app, which then also the farmer can integrate now directly in the app of the DMO, some offers they do on the farm. Now imagine if you have a destination app which goes out to let's say 10 to 20,000 tourists a day, whatever you offer, 10 seconds later is booked. You can be sure on this. Next slide. And this is then the how it looks like on the homepage. So this is then the offer the tourism can choose if they are staying on the agritourism or on a normal hotel. It's for them. It's the same homepage. So you have then the opportunity to bring more people on the farm for some events, and the DMOs are happy to promote this because this is the sustainable offers tourism is hardly looking after. Next slide. And just go one slide back that I just want to show you. You see here, book now. This is possible if you have a full integrated DMO because the DMO can directly also sell these products. And because they have an own company which organizing this. This is what I have to say. This is at the highest level, but it's already enough if you can book it directly. So this is just the benchmark we have here. Next slide. So this is the digital farm store I mentioned before. It's what we called My Regio Shop. And this is a fantastic thing because this was a startup and they were just thinking about to do for some bed and breakfasts. They offered bread, milk products. They could offer to this bread and breakfast. And they already developed this platform, and so we just could interface it. And this is sometimes the lucky thing with digital collaboration. So what I'm saying here is an important message: check what is already there, and you can easily and very cost efficiently combine it with digital interfaces. But what is now here the possibility? So, for example, if your guests stay on holiday on farms or on agritourism, and you really have not the time anymore to do these breakfast services, or it's really challenging you. Here we have the opportunity that the guest can directly order the breakfast digital, and it will delivered directly, and also so complex that what you have on the farm will not be delivered because guests will buy it from your farm, but what you don't have on the farm can be delivered. In the early morning, for example, fresh bread, or a meat if you don't have a meat farm, or whatever product is in the regional area can be delivered in the morning to the farm. And we have such a good service that it is then a package for the clients, and they just take their bag and go to the breakfast. Just think about opportunities. This is enormous opportunity. Next slide. And this is how we also offer this now on the tourism side. That for the tourism side, you don't see that is the digital farm store. You can directly order products from the provider. Or if it is a farm in the lower one or a bakery, customers doesn't recognize that it is the digital farm store which offer this product. But for the promotion, it's important that they can order it directly from the provider. And the other side, next slide. Okay, that we left out, but also, of course, it's also possible from the farm side. There is then something you put in the morning, you can put in the rooms, and there's a QR code, and you can directly order this. Okay, so implement. This is my last slide, and I also took I think a lot of time from my colleagues, this, I think, was something I would like to show you. And if you have then answers, questions, if you have then questions, we can answer it afterwards. We have a full report on this. It can be downloaded. It's downloadable, and we will also give this for you and give you the link for this. Unfortunately, it's German, but nowadays with the KI. It does not matter, because if you have a automatic generation in translation, you can read this then perfectly in your languages. So what was the implications for us? Use digital interfaces to promote the sales of regional offers. Simple, clear, and efficient design of the interfaces is very important. We speak also about sustainable economic sustainability, so it has to be cost efficient. So don't start with new developments, just check what is there, and build interfaces is very, very efficient. Important knowledge of customers' wishes and needs to improve online experiences. Digital marketing is an additional channel, but direct marketing and direct sales. So we bring and can bring, even we can steer this customers to the farms by these events, and also the farm store. And digital platform at all be easy to use and make day-to-day work easier is quite important. So that was for my part. At the end, I'm coming with next steps, but now I hand over to Barbara and Katharina. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Katharina, and I will continue with the section Ecotourism in comparison with agritourism, potential for digital diversification of farms. And this is another part from our research project with a specific focus on ecotourism, agritourism, smart data management, and accessibility. Next slide, please. Now to the background. In recent years, the ecotourism has become a major travel trend. Ecotourism is about minimizing the impact on the environment, preserving and protecting the natural landscape, and raising awareness of natural and cultural resources among tourists and locals. The responsible, environmental friendly behavior of ecotourists determines how they make decisions and behave, for example, when searching for products and services, and when they purchasing, using, and disposing of products and services. And this behavior can also be applied to customer behavior. Next slide, please. According to Leuthold, ecotourists are between 30 and 60 years old. They want to get to know new landscapes, and they prefer to stay on a farm. For this reason, agritourism is often seen as an attractive travel option by ecotourists. Guests are accommodated directly on a farm and can therefore participate in everyday farm life. And this can generate additional income and drive growth at the local level. Authenticity and sustainability are especially important. In order to meet current and future challenges, smart data management and digital platforms such as the UAB Vermieter app from the association Holiday on Farms or the MyZillertal app from the Tourism Association Meyerhof-Hippach are seen as solutions. Next slide, please. Also, accessible agritourism has potential. Due to the demographic changes, there is a growing market and demand for companies that offer social and accessible services for everyone. This includes not only people with disabilities, but also families with young children and senior citizens. Accessible agritourism creates opportunities for diversification and additional sources of income for the farmers. The association Holiday on Farms currently has 550 specialized member farms like barrier-free farms, horse farms, active holidays, organic farms, vineyards, farms for babies and kids, which is shown in this graph. At today, 35 Holiday on Farm members are accessible farms. Next slide, please. Sorry, Kathy. Go back, please. I forgot something. These farms ensure that agricultural activities and experiences such as field tours, tastings, and so on are visible and easily accessible. And farmers have to take into account the needs and concerns of different target groups like people with disabilities, families with young children, and senior citizens. And therefore, personalized and varied offers are important. Now to our aims of the study. First of all, we want to compare ecotourism with agritourism. Also, we want to determine which concept is more suitable for smart data management. And third, we want to identify new approaches through responsible and sustainable tourism to create accessible agricultural offers. Next slide. From these objectives, the 3 research questions can be derived. What are the similarities and differences between ecotourism and agritourism? What parameters, approaches do the 2 concepts offer for a sustainable tourism development supported by smart data management? And what digital potentials and challenges exist for an additional offer of accessible activities? To answer these research questions, we have used different methods. 1, a literature analysis, 2nd, a data analysis, and 3rd, a in-depth stakeholder needs analysis. Next slide, please. For the first research question, we used the systematic literature analysis according to David and Hahn, Newbert, Bickermatt, and et al. And Bichler et al. Here we defined keywords and searched in various databases like Web of Science and Google Scholar. For the 2nd and 3rd research questions, we analyzed existing qualitative and quantitative data sets with the focus on ecotourism, agritourism, smart data management, and accessibility. The data were collected between the years 2022 and 2023 in the Austrian provinces of Vorarlberg and Tyrol. Next slide, please. Now I come to the main results from the literature analysis, and I want to start with the similarities between agritourism and ecotourism. In ecotourism and agritourism, the focus is on getting to know new landscapes and preserving natural habitats. In ecotourism, knowledge of the cultural and natural landscape plays an important role, which can be achieved through guided tours or workshops, for example. This is also the case in agritourism, where tourists are accommodated directly on the farm and can participate in everyday farm life by helping, for example, out in the barn. There are also various motives why guests choose ecotourism and agritourism holidays. Examples include learning about culture and nature and gaining experiences for example, through learning through experiences. And one difference between these two concepts is that agritourism is seen as part of rural tourism, while ecotourism encompasses all forms of nature-based tourism. While agritourism in Austria mainly refers to agriculture and viniculture, ecotourism also includes nature parks and eco-museums. So, ecotourism is more broadly defined than agritourism. So, agritourism can therefore be seen as an exemplary form of ecotourism, and this is also supported by Siegrist et al. Now I give my word to Katharina, which will continue with the other results. Thank you.
So thank you. I want to continue with the data analysis and stakeholder needs analysis. Here we can see the coding tree that emerged from the analysis of the qualitative data. It includes the two one says the bigger the piece of the cake, the better I can live from it. This shows that a large agri-tourism offer must exist to be able to make a living from it. Another example is from B2, which I want to highlight. Of course, it is much better for the guests if they can book directly. So this shows that the direct booking of ecotourism and agritourism offers is important. Also, digital interfaces and digital cooperation are therefore essential to support sustainability. Now I come to the results of the data analysis. Here, digitalization makes sense for both ecotourism and agritourism, as it facilitates the digital marketing of offers. On the right side, you can see examples of an ecotourism and agritourism offer on the website of the DMO or the Tourism Association Mayerhofen-Hippach. In this context, smart data management as digital and organizational interfaces play an important role in strengthening and improving the cooperation between agriculture and tourism. Digital interfaces are, for example, the Maizillertal app from the Tourism Association Mayerhofen-Hippach or the UAB Vermieter app from the association Holiday on Farms. Organizational interfaces are, for example, tourism associations or associations like Holiday on Farms. Especially digital interfaces should be simple and have a clear design, and also should be efficient. Digitalization facilitates the creation of personalized offers, the organization of information, and the presentation of products and experiences. Here is another example where ecotourism and agritourism offers are displayed on the website of the Tourism Association Mayerhofen-Hippach and in the Maizillertal app. Here, information about these offers can be accessed through this website or the app, and guests also can book their desired activities through these platforms, like Alexander has mentioned before. Here we can see a map where guests can search for regional products and their locations. And this is another example of how ecotourism and agritourism products can be made visible for guests. Now I come to the results of the stakeholder needs analysis, and I want to present the results of the interviews from the qualitative data. In particular, accessible agritourism is seen as having the potential to diversify by reaching new target groups like people with disabilities, families with young children, and senior citizens. The development of accessible agritourism offers requires the will and initiative of farmers, but they are dependent on limited resources like money and time. They also have to deal with safety regulations related to accessibility in order to minimize risks and sources of danger. This can be supported by collaboration between agriculture and tourism through a digital cooperation. Apps and platforms like the UAB Vermieter app or the MyZillertal app play a central role, but there are high accessibility requirements. For example, image captions and large fonts should be used to meet accessibility requirements. The quantitative survey shows that convenience, accessibility, and simplicity are key drivers for the use of digital tools such as apps. In addition to providing access to up-to-date information on accommodations and events, digital tools also allow travelers to share their experiences with their families and friends. 47% of respondents feel that using digital tools while traveling is too complicated due to a lack of knowledge. Here you can see the previous example from Alexander from the email template from the Association Holiday on Farm. To make these email templates accessible, for example, image captions are required. Here is another example where the members of the Association Holiday on Farms can add accessible offers to the email templates in the area of leisure activities. So in this way, guests are informed in advance about the entire range of offers, including accessible offers in the destination or region. And here, this is also part of the email template. Here you can visualize the accessible leisure activities on the map. And so the guests get an overview of the leisure activities where they are. Now I come to the implications. In the figure above show the Sustainable Development Goals, also known as the SDGs, which play a role in agritourism. And based on this, we have tried to assign our implications to these SDGs. Ecotourism and agritourism focus on landscape preservation and knowledge acquisition, and this is assigned to SDG 4, which is about the education of people. Ecotourism and agritourism contribute to rural areas, which is why it's assigned to SDG 1. This is about the creation of income in rural areas. Furthermore, accessible agritourism offers diversification potential and thus contributes to sustainable tourism development, which is reflected, for example, in SDG 8. This includes the economic development. Also cooperation between ecotourism and agritourism businesses and tourism, as well as digital interfaces and smart data management are essential, while data protection and accessibility has to be taken into account. And these mentioned issues are addressed, for example, in SDG 17, which is about diverse cooperation. Below right, you can see the project report about ecotourism in comparison with agritourism, potential for digital diversification of farms. And this report will be available in German on the website tourismusforschung.online in the next few weeks, but we can give you information when it is available. And now I want to give my word to Alexander, who continues with the outlook on the submitted research proposal about accessible agritourism. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Katharina. And Barbara, could you just go back, because I would like to introduce with your final slide. Just if you see here the SDGs which are implemented by Holiday on Farm in Austria, this is the thing DMO manager really search for, because how to make tourism more sustainable. You can use agritourism as a benchmark and also showcase it and also promote it more in a region. And this is also something where, in my opinion, or in our opinion, and according our data, this is a win-win situation for both. The same thing also what you have heard on inclusive tourism. We have to say always, when we sell inclusive tourism to the tourism side, we don't talk about inclusion and accessibility. We talk about potential and higher profit and loyal customer, which are elderly people, and get a lot of attention with that. And therefore, please, next slide. Our next development, we just have done a research proposal with a very scientific grant, but because we need to do some ground theory research on this, is about what is truly inclusive agritourism services, strategy for improved accessibility for older adults in the Euregio agritourism sector. And this is something which we do with our partners from the EURAC, which, if you were there in the last agritourism global conference, it was hosted in Bolzano by them, and the team from Thomas Streifeneder and Christian Hoffmann. We plan here some ethnographic approaches which really help us and will target to have some specific offers which farmers and agritourism offers providers can then in future also use to diversify and also to work with this special group, which is high potential and very interesting. And so the age of, therefore we focus on elder adults. We have 3 research focus on perception and preferences on the older adults, innovation in business models, like for example, inclusive tourism on farms, yeah, application of universal design principles. So then it can be applied by also not only the agritourism sector, also by the tourism sector. Of course, it's a demanding and very sensitive area, and therefore also we did a lot of work with disabled people and studies with them. We even went in the air with them by paragliding. We just will publish here something. So we have a good stake on this, and also we will expect here a quite fruitable result and interesting results for managerial implications and some concrete offers, which are again sustainable in the dimension of the social area of sustainability. Next slide. I think this is the final slide. We have prepared for any discussion, anything. I tried to answer a few things already, but I'm looking forward now for deeper discussion. Thank you very much. Dave, the word is to you.
Great, thank you, Alexander, Barbara, and Katharina. You have a lot of things going on there. I know you're a very active group when I met with you. There are a few people here. I have some questions of my own, but I first want to see if any of those who are in attendance besides me have questions that they'd like to ask now.
Thank you, Professor. If I may, I'll ask some questions. And thank you for the presentation. Can you all hear me, by the way? Can you hear me okay? Okay, good, thank you. Yeah, very intriguing presentation. You know, this is some of the, this is kind of an interesting area in the, like at TTRA last year, which is the Travel and Tourism Research Association. So more broadly, just tourism in general, not, just agritourism. But this is an area that I think is a very kind of hot topic in a way. And I think it's justified as being a hot topic, in terms of kind of marketing and whatnot. So yeah, thank you very much for the presentation. So I just had a couple quick questions, and I have one comment as well. The comment, there's biophilia, which is the idea that people have more psychological well-being if they are near nature as opposed to if they are deprived. So that's something that's been highlighted as important in terms of tourist motivations, for instance. And there's a paper by Crompton and Petrick from January of this year. I can send this to you if you're interested, but is like a big review of tourism motivation. And so biophilia is added there as well. So I just wanted to kind of add that note that, when you think about especially ecotourism, agritourism is nestled within ecotourism, that thinking about the biophilia element of it could be very important. And also, just for like the older people that you were talking about, the inclusive tourism and whatnot. Of course, that's kind of the central draw, I would think, of agritourism, is that you're in nature, more or less. You could say you're in human elaborated nature. Maybe one way of thinking about it is you walk around the farms and whatnot. But so anyway, that's just maybe one thing to think about. But beyond that, I just sort of wanted to make the point that, well, it's very wonderful, all the different data that you can get. And I think that your marketing framework of the proprietary farms versus the region, and how the farm can post their event, and then it's on the DMO Destination Management Organization DMO website. I think that's really fantastic. But I just wanted to sort of add one point to the discussion, if I may, which is that there's this idea that it's creating personalized value is like a recipe, and it needs ingredients. It needs tangible and intangible ingredients. And so the consumers have some intangible ingredients. They have knowledge, they have expertise, they have preferences. The people at the farm, they know the farm, they have an authentic story, it's very endearing. So these are all intangible resources. And then the farm itself has physical, right? The farm tools and tractors and whatever else, right? And so those are the tangible. And so I just kind of wanted to raise this question in terms of how you think, what maybe your vision is with collecting this digital data and kind of running it through the analytical framework that you had and whatnot, thinking about this in terms of identifying customers. So think about the customer that, looking at the customer desire to co-create value with your firm as a motivational force. Like, do they see themselves able to you could say, quote unquote, like put together a nice situation using what you have? So I know this is a little abstract. I apologize for being maybe a lack of focus with this question, but just generally speaking, I'd be curious to hear your vision as to how collecting some of this digital data can reveal to us how segmentation or motivation for consumers can be predicated on how they see the farm or the location as like an ingredient that they can make a recipe with to derive value for themselves.
Thank you, Matt. I have an additional comment to make there before Alexander maybe replies to that. But yeah, I put a question out there in the text about this. Not all agritourism is the same. There's different forms of agriculture, and I think there are different forms of agriculture may be more or less attractive as an agritourism offering, right? But what you introduced there is this idea that people bring their beliefs and their experiences to the table as well, the customer or the potential customer. So what if their baseline experience was more with like industrial agriculture, there was almost much more kind of urban in nature, and this whole biophilia idea was kind of not even existent there. And they enter this equation from that perspective. It may take a different kind of marketing campaign to attract them to a different kind of agritourism experience eventually, right? Because they have this preconceived idea of what agriculture is. Just random thoughts again to add to your random thoughts.
Okay. My first answer to you, Matt. First of all, maybe you are at the TTIA in Galway, Ireland, this June. I will present there also one part of this study, which was also then the valorization of landscape. Yeah, and how customers and how tourists nowadays valorize sustainability. I do there a short poster presentation because it's my final single paper, which just was accepted so for my PhD. And I'm more or less looking forward to discuss this then further, because I think this valorization issue. So how much worth is something? Yeah, like how much worth is something sustainable might be quite attractive, and might be also an answer to this discussion. I have also to say I have no answer. Should we call it agritourism or ecotourism? I said the broader aspect of ecotourism is for the academic world quite interesting, because especially exactly now this valorization, because with ecotourism I have a broader idea. And of course, also I thought on the issue, and I've also presented in the I think in the second agritourism conference in Vermont, a few things. And also there was the idea of what is the price of sustainable products. Yeah, and I had a good exchange there with some of the huge farmers. Yeah, these industries, and we also saw there are opportunities. Yeah, and of course, to think about, we talk about now alpine areas, small farms. Most of them are bio, very sustainable. So they are very, very benchmarking here in regards of sustainability. But if I have an industrial farm, I have to reconsider a few things. Yeah, but still think about on circular economy. Still here, I have a stake, a very strong sustainable stake. This is also the question we might have to have, and it would be interesting also to do here deeper analysis on the valorization, because if I can sell a sustainable product to a higher price than a product with an industrial price, I might have a different idea of or develop some strategies for B2B different to B2C. And also I would like to remind you to the last map, I think it was Katharina showed or the Barbara showed, you saw we can even steer customers, even we can buy this app and buy this offer, for example, the sustainable giveaway. Yeah, we can even look how much traffic we have real-time data. Yeah, so Zillertal is really benchmarking digitalization. So we know where the customers, how many customers are in the move, yeah, driving back to their home, even steering them to not one farm, to different farms by app information or by push-up messages. So there is much more into this. And of course, and this might also be a bit of an answer of your question, we use qualitative data in a sense. We have to say we are qualitative researchers, but also we do quantitative researchers. But here the focus groups and the fishbowl groups are quite interesting if you want to do some innovations. Yeah, because if I think about data management, interface management, we might not have enough people to ask in a reliable way. And also we want to ask things which are new, where we have no hypothesis still there. Yeah. So we need something new, and therefore for us we are in the qualitative part. Also, I have to say I have issues with quantitative research because we had really so much troubles to get people doing the surveys. Yeah, they don't answer it anymore, and so what we do nowadays is second data analysis. We have so much data globally, and this is also some opportunities, I would say, for the agritourism network. We talked the last summer then about research proposals. Yeah, the research proposals would be easy to do, and there would be enough funding there if you just collect the data and analyze it, and do then some data analysis together. And if you use the data from the agri-tourism side, from the tourism side, from the travel side, there would be fantastic possibilities. But of course, when it comes to the innovations, I always say I want to do the qualitative part or the qualitative research, because I need to open new ideas. And what you have seen, this is new, and customers are amazed what is possible and what is still there. And there's plenty of possibilities to implement, as long as you stay on the basic rule. And this is more to the practitioners. Don't develop something new. Just check what is there and combine it by interface management. I think this is one of the key issue of key learnings of what we have done the last 7-8 years. I hope I could answer both of your questions a bit.
Yeah.
Any other questions? If you don't, I have more.
Then come in, Dave. If there is nobody else,
I don't want to take too much time. Can I ask one more question? I'll be a more brief one. Is just this idea of consumer perceived value, and that this is something I'm working on my dissertation now. This is why I mentioned it. I think it's relevant to what you're working on right now, which is that the idea is that people first perceive value in a generalized or market sense. Or you could say, if we're talking about a product, like product value, right? Tourism is more of a service, so you could still say service value, right? But the value to anybody, to any consumer, just in general, does this product or service improve social standing? Is it a good deal? Is it perform well functionally, right? And that those are important, but typically that is what influences personalized value. And then personalized value is what drives the consumer brand relationship. And all the branding research is based on this notion of personification of the brand. The brand's like a person, right? So I just wonder if you think it's viable within the types of data that you're able to get, the secondary data that you're getting, to link the generalized perceptions of value of the agritourism to the personalized value. And again, I'm a little biased because that's what I'm doing in my research for wine consumers. But anyway, if it's possible through your data to make that type of link, I think that would be something really interesting if it's possible. I just don't know with the data, if you could maybe just briefly comment on that. And then that's my only last question for today. Thank you, everyone, for your.
Yeah, Matt, short answer. Maybe you sent me also this paper you have mentioned, and maybe you are in Galway to the next TT8, and we personally can meet there, or we can also exchange on this. This is what I also want to find out. I think my Austrian colleague from the ministry I think she left earlier, but we just have an exchange. We plan what we have presented today also to present at the Ministry of Agri so now it's gone. Agriculture, not agri-tourism, agriculture, to discuss a bit what they have there. We still miss a bit in our team somebody who is keen on data analysis because this is some kind of scientific work. It's not our main stake, but we are looking forward now what is available then. What could be combined, because this is what we, I mean, we have just give a project at some developments, and we proved in an area, one of the highest tourism area in Austria, with highest tourism frequency, that it would work well. If we could then combine this with individual data by a second data analysis, I'm not sure about this, because this is always tricky. And for that, I just can answer it the way I just did it. For this Galway presentation, we just have done some interviews because I was interested on one specific question. Alternative winter sport, so ski touring. Do people do this because of neo-ecology? So because they want to be sustainable, they want to be more in nature, they want to have a smaller footprint, or do they do it because the prices of taking the ski elevator and the ski ropes and the infrastructure is so expensive nowadays that you can even not afford it with a family anymore. So this is something we just have the results here, and this is now something back to your question. When I have some ideas, then I can check the data as we do now. Again, if I find some data which would support my ideas, which we develop with our quantitative study. So this is the way, the approach we are doing. Okay. So Dave, I think you have meant. I hope just send me by Dave a message and the thing, and we can exchange. I will also send you directly. I put you my email address directly in the chat, and then you can connect me also directly. Dave, in the meantime, what are your further questions if you have?
Well, this is related. I'm wondering, in this platform that you're working with, are there customer reviews like you would see at a hotels.com or a booking.com or something like that of specific properties? And I wonder about if you have really well-informed parameters that you're looking for there that might speak to this idea of this personalized branding. What are the important things that people want to really know about, perhaps from others who have already experienced it before they make a decision to visit a particular property or location. And over time, accumulating that data might become very important to the business, because it may help give them the feedback they need to change some things to be more attractive to customers. It might also influence the price over time if they can deliver on. So you could do it at the individual business level for them to receive the direct feedback, but then in aggregate, if you have that information, you could begin to better understand the broader customer base and what their demand structure looks like. And then that would be, I think, useful to inform the community of agritourism operators about making better strategic business decisions in terms of what they're offering. They may be offering some things that are very expensive to deliver, that are like they think are really important to them, but if the customers don't appreciate them, then it becomes the ROI on some of those things might become, They may still want to deliver them because they feel really strongly about delivering them, as a values proposition. But it may be that the customers that they're attracting aren't willing to pay for that high level of service, whatever that is. Or vice versa, there may be something that's very inexpensive to provide that they didn't even think about, but it's missing and the customers are wanting it. So they could make more informed business decisions if that data became available over time. So is that available? Is there something like that integrated into that platform now, or is that something for the future, perhaps?
So nearly same question, which I gave to Matt. I really now want to see in Austria what kind of data would be available for some of the developments and implication we already have done through our initial studies through the qualitative researches. And I'll just give you one example. If you are a family organization, so if you have a family business, and here a colleague of mine is some very interesting research on experimental researching. This is quite interesting, yeah, too, because we always talk about this and that, and there is even some even more innovative methods available, like the experimental research. And she has done a good paper, interesting presentation. By the way, it was also a TTIA presentation in Innsbruck from also the European chapter. And she shows one thing which was quite interesting, and this is just a quick win. Everybody who's listened to us and has a family organization, do you have at your homepage a very good photo from a family there? It has not be, even you could consider data protection nowadays, it has not to be your family, but it would be ideal your family. And this is a first check we always do when we go to hotels and family companies. I check the homepage, is the family there? Because this impression, this is a branding. Yeah, this is a family branding, and this is quite important for the people because this signal activates a few things for the customers. It says this is not a company, this is a family. I'm going into a relation. I don't expect that families are available 24 hours, 7 days. Yeah, very important thing. So every agri-tourism company should, when it is a family organization, which are, I guess, 90%, should really promote the family in the as a branding aspect. Yeah. So you have then other images in the mind of the customers. They react differently. They have a personal relationship, or they see a personal relationship, and so on. So this is quite interesting, and this is, for example, also something could be available easily by data, yeah, because you just have to check this, and even our students are doing some kind of this, and our hospitality or hotel agency also use this results nowadays when they interact with customers, first checking the homepage on the family stake and the family branding. Yeah, other things. Of course, again, Dave, here I'm interacting with Erica for Austria, and we could even think about to look further, because for me the most important thing nowadays is this valorization topic. Matt had a similar approach, but you call it differently. I call it valorization. It's about how much worth is an offer for customers when it is be branded, like, for example, for us, very important, sustainable. So what is the worth of that? Or even we did it, what is landscape, yeah? Because landscape is something given nowadays. So every tourism video, every tourism photo is about landscape. Most of the times, these landscapes are owned by farmers, by the way, yeah? And this is something which is not honored enough, yeah? And this is also something we nowadays discuss here. That would be also interesting, so this valorization topic. And one of the things I presented in Vermont on this was, for example, that what we showed in Austria, we advised strongly the whole agritourism sector to raise up their prices because they are too cheap. Because they offering not only classes like hotels, yeah, where they have spa, things like that for a 4-star to a certain level. They are staying on the 3-star level, means they have no spa, they have no such equipment, they have wonderful equipped rooms. WLAN even is there most of the time. So basic things are there for a 3-star, but they could charge for a 4-star because of the landscape, because of this neo-ecology, because the story, the authenticity. But they have to know this. And the interesting thing, by the way, if they rise up the prices by 30%, they have a 40% bigger target group, because they're becoming attractive for people also attracted or also check on prices. Because if I pay for in Austria, I know in US it's much more expensive, but in a hotel 4-star I pay 100, 120 euros. Yeah, holiday on farm is maybe between 60 and 70 euros, or even lower. And that means if for example, I'm checking for a hotel, I'm going for a trip, yeah, and I have a hotel which costs 50 or 50 euros or 70 euros, it might be not good, yeah, because I want to spend here I have only 2 weeks. I want to spend a good quality and so on. So price is an indicator for quality, and that we know. So this is also quite important. And this here we might definitely have data on this. And this is what I'm saying, this valorization topic that could be very interesting for the whole sector.
This is all very interesting, very good stuff. But I think there's one other person out there. I'm just going to find out if they're actually there today. Jose? Hola, Jose? No, he's not there actually, I think right now, maybe. So what I recommend, it sounds like we're a small group here and there's some common interest. I think maybe some continued conversation beyond the webinar today is in order. And Matt, you have my email address. I saw you drop me an email earlier, and I can share Alexander's, or Hugh said he's going to drop it in the chat. If you want to, whoever would like to start that conversation, if we need to have additional Zoom meeting or something at some point in time to explore this further, wherever this might lead, that's a very desirable outcome. I know Matt said he's working on his dissertation right now and hoping to complete this summer into the fall, something like that. And he's starting to begin his search for employment and that sort of thing. So he's going to be a busy man. So I did offer to him that we could probably entertain the idea of having him present from his research in this webinar series later this year when that fits with his schedule. So we can plan to do that. Be another opportunity for that as well. Matt is in Massachusetts, correct? You're in Amherst. I was actually there in the fall of 2023 for a day.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I bought a bicycle there. Anyway,
I bet you paid a lot. They're really expensive here.
I traded 2 used ones for one there. Anyway, it's another story. I'll tell you later. But I think for today, it is 12:30, and that's what we planned on. So it's good timing. Definitely appreciate all of you presenting the work you're doing. And we did decide, I was speaking with Corinne there, who helps me with this. She's a co-chair of this committee. that I think we need to advertise these research webinars outside of the GAN network as well. So there's a certain amount of interest within the GAN network on research topics, which may seem kind of narrow for many of their from their points of view, if they're a practitioner, for example. But for those of us who are doing research on various topics, it typically is a more narrow, well-defined topic of interest that we have to dig into. So I think exploring ideas to invite others who might have an interest in the topic from other communities outside of GAN would be appropriate. And I think if you have ideas about others that should be invited, then we'll definitely work on that as well. Barbara and Katerina, how far along are you with your programs now? When do you plan to finish?
About in 2 years, 2.5. Yeah, 3 years.
Okay, and you both are on the same path?
Yeah.
Okay. Very well. Anyone else have any final words they want to say? No? Again, thank you very much for your time today. I'm going to go to lunch now, and you all can go home probably, right?
Thank you. I submit now my next paper. So I still spend a bit time in the office tonight. So all the best. Thank you very much for your invitation, Dave. Thank you, Matt, and the rest for their interesting inputs and exchanges. I expect maybe also some question might come later on when we put it online and people could asynchron check it. We are anyhow happy to do further exchanges on this and staying connected by the GAN network, which we very appreciate. Thank you very much for this.
Okay, well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
very
you
much.
also.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. See you soon.
Bye-bye.
Maybe.
Thank you.